Hi, this is Andrea. I want to share a video perspective tonight on the point of mass murderers. Now, I have been writing blogs on various criminological aspects found within human society, where we take for granted, for example, what and how crime occurs, and that crime is not just, if one really take a nice look at how crime exists within our society, it's not simply just what we have been taught and raised to believe crime is. For example, the very black and white concepts such as a rapist is somebody that does this, a thief is somebody that does that, terrorism, for example, where one look only at what we have come to accept crime to be, and what we have come to accept that person who commits a crime, that we were always taught that the person either chooses it, or they're just bad people, or they're evil, or examples like that. Now, in my blogs, Crime's Journey to Life, I have been walking the timeline, for example, much deeper, of looking at different types of crimes, who commits the crime, who in society is involved in the character and mind development of a criminal, and what does a criminal constitute. For example, in my recent blogs that I've been writing, I've taken on the point of the mass murderer, and I've drawn a comparison here at what does constitute a mass murderer. The definition of somebody who kills a large group of people in a relatively short period of time. However, does that not, if one take it through to the point of looking at, if there's a lot of people, large groups of people and individuals being killed, and one look at the reason why they're being killed in our society, and you look at the reason as because of religion, because of culture, because of capitalism, then does that not make, if one bring it back to who is responsible, does that not make the people who create and design these types of murders, these types of deaths, these type of abusive life situations, does it not make that person responsible? Because if you take the definition of a mass murderer, for example, one would want to immediately go and say the person who committed mass murder, serial killing, any kind of murder or abuse or harming of another, one would want to point fingers and hold that person accountable. Fine. So then in my blogs, what I do is first of all, I look at broadening our horizons on the understanding of within our society. For example, we have labeled certain things as that person is a mass murderer, that person is a serial killer. But those people who also were responsible for killing a group of people, they're not serial killers, they're not mass murderers, because in society we have labeled it as acceptable. For example, within capitalism, we have come to accept that if you do not have money, you cannot gain access to basic resources which were provided for equally for all of us, and you cannot gain access to basic necessities for you to be able to live on this planet: food, water, medical care, protection, shelter, things like that. And therefore, every single day, people, children, animals, nature, these individuals are living extensive lives of suffering, abuse, death, but it is labeled okay. That it isn't somehow okay for us to say we separated the resources that were given to us and are given to us in this physical reality on this planet. We have taken control of the resources, some have taken control, and held all of humanity at bay unless you have little pieces of paper. Human life has been equated to a little piece of paper. Therefore, if you do not have this piece of paper, you cannot escape having to work in strenuous, abusive, compromising situations, jobs, careers that really, it's terrible what people have to go through within this current world system to survive. Some live lives of absolute abuse, and some people even die I mean, we read about it every day in the news that people are dying because they cannot afford something simple like healthcare, or something like paying their heating bills, so they are freezing to death, and so forth. The news is full of such stories. You can just go and look through the Daily Mail and you will find every day many examples. So I draw a comparison between what is a mass murderer, what is a serial killer, what is the reason we have given to allowing a world system that allows me to live and supports me in living here, and by me getting that support, I'm saying I agree to this system being in place, even though it means that that system, for me to benefit from the system, this system has to, due to its own principles currently, it has to abuse other life forms to be able to exist as the system that it does. For example, capitalism functions on greed and profit. And to be able to do that, it has to draw its benefits from abusing as many life forms as it possibly can. And one is able to deny this until you are blue in the face, but it is a waste of breath to try and even justify and deny that this in the first place does not happen. One can walk a simple timeline between how does capitalism function, all its parts, and you can just go and look. Okay, it does that, it abused that person, it killed that company, it took from that family its resources, those people died, those animals were abused, tortured, killed, maimed. There, that woman, because she can't afford to pay for her life, she has to become a prostitute. That child was sold into sex slavery. These people work as slaves at minimum wages in factories. These slaves are dying in factories due to lung cancer because they have to be the skivvies that work in the factories producing for consumerism, which is, another point that can be discussed, but it's a made-up thing playing on people's feelings and emotions. So, first of all, I just wanted to do this intro video on the Crimes Journey to Life blogs. Now, the reason why I'm writing these blogs is because I am studying psychology. I've finished my 3rd year undergraduate, and I'm looking at furthering my studies within that, and my minor is in criminology because I used to work as a reservist in the South African police force, and I've always had quite an interest in what is crime, how is somebody pushed to crime, what is considered crime and what is not, and how to investigate for ourselves, how did we create this world where such things as crime really exist, and do people really just go from being an innocent child to deciding one day, I'm going to kill, and how does a person make that decision? What is it based on? For us to get a deeper understanding of that, for myself, to understand how the human mind works, how my own mind works, how do I make the decisions I make, how is it so easy for us to take lives, to protect other lives, how did we get to that point? So in my next vlog, I'm going to look more at the point of, for example, continuing on the discussion of mass murderers. So please join me. Thank you.